Hi everybody, this is Jean-Charles Compagnon with the KiOui apps. Today I want to talk to you about thank you notes within your items when you send your items to a buyer that bought from you. A lot of people wonder, should I send a thank you note? Should I not send a thank you note? Which kind of thank you note should I send? And things to work. So I want to show you my take on the matter. Obviously, this is just my take. There are different schools. Basically, some people tell you that you have to send a thank you note. That is part of doing business. And some other people will tell you that you do not have to send a thank you note. So what I'm going to try to show you today is the reason for a thank you note and why you should send one or not send one, and decide what you want to do yourself. So why do we send thank you notes to our buyers or not? It's basically to try to retain their attention, for them to feel so warm and fuzzy that they leave us a positive feedback, but furthermore, that they come back and buy from us again. So my take on the whole thing is that as a buyer, I never, ever, never read the thank you note that's in there, or the paper, or the invoice, or things like that. However, even though I do not read, for example, an invoice, a logo that's printed on the invoice might attract my eye, and I might remember that logo. So, for example, here at the KiOui apps, we have a logo that's made out of kiwi. So we try to attract people with that. Now let's go back to eBay and let me show you my eBay store. Let's see. There, jcdust.com goes to my eBay store. And what I do when I send a package to somebody is, rather than putting an invoice, you can still probably put an invoice if you have, multiple items in a package. But what I do is I send a business card that has my logo on it, that has some kind of hair product, or that has information that people will remember. Let me give you an example, to show you what I mean. About a year ago, I bought, what is it called? A soft box lighting. It's not a lighting kit, it's just soft box in Lighting Studio. And it wasn't one of those small ones, it was one of those like that. And I'm very happy with that soft box. However, I needed to order a second one recently to take better pictures. And since I'm very happy with my softbox, I thought, well, I'm just going to buy from the same person. Works out great. I don't really care, if it's going to be 20 bucks or 25 bucks. Works great. Never breaks. Good product. But I couldn't find anything on the product that would tell me who that seller was. So my take on this, so I had to buy from another seller, potentially the same one. I don't even know if this was the same one. And I got a great product and it worked out good. But what I'm trying to explain to you is that if somehow, instead of having put some money into sending me maybe an invoice, if that seller would have had stickers on all of their product with their website, or a link to their website, or a link to their eBay ID, because I looked at the stickers and there were nothing on the sticker, on the little tag. And if there was something, I would have gone right to them to buy from it. So my take on it is that you need to understand why we send thank you note. And it's not so much the thank you part of it. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make our buyer feel happy about their purchase, and we're trying to retain them as a customer. So for example, let me look at Elderly Good Stuff, Danny. And I don't know what Danny does as far as what she sends in her package. But if I was Danny, for example, in my package, on my invoice, or if I would send, an invoice or packaging slip or something like that, I would put my logo here, because then if somebody is going to order something from me later down the road, you want them to retain this. So maybe I would put this image or this image here. Myself, I sell wigs, and usually people want to have no marking whatsoever on the package because they want this to be very discreet. But when you sell collectibles like that, for example, why not print your little logo on the label itself? I know that, for example, Scott Anshaw, what he does is he runs his label first through his printer. Let's see. Let's look at Nanette Store. What he does is he runs his label into his printer first, so that there are some things like his logo that are printed on the label at a place where eBay label is not going to print something, and then he runs the label a second time when he actually prints the item. So my take on this is that if you're going to send a thank you note, it's not so much the thank you note itself that matters to you. It's trying to retain your customers. Or if you send an invoice with your package, make sure that you have your logo. Make sure that you have some kind of ways to imprint into your buyer your logo, your things. You know, you can see that Scott everywhere uses this model here, and that's kind of a recurring theme. And if you see that somewhere, you know, like let's say, let's look at his Pinterest, for example. So let's say I'm on Pinterest, and I see a little Hawaiian person. So I'm not seeing it here, but let's say, you know, I would see, for example, a photo like this. Then I'm thinking about Scott. I'm thinking about Scott's product or Nanette Store's product, and that's what you want to do. Basically, you know, let's look at McDonald's, for example. It's bad food. We all agree that it's bad for you. However, you can see this double arch logo here anywhere in the world, and you will recognize it. And it's not so much a question of if it's good or if it's bad, but when you send a thank you note or a receipt or a shipping manifest, what you want is you want to brand yourself. You want to brand your product so that a year from now, somebody, you know, like in my case, I brand JC Does. And the idea is that somewhere down the road, if somebody just remember JC Does something, boom, did you see that? I just searched there in Google and it went to my store. And that's what you want to do. You want to brand either your logo or your a link to your store or things like that. For example, one of the things that I do in my pictures is I always use the same mannequin. Let me show you a reason for that. And that has nothing to do with this thank you note, but it's for branding. So let me scroll down, and I'm going to try to find some mannequin that I recognize. So see, this doesn't talk to me. This shows you that it's the same person that sells this. It might not be, but it probably is. And this is probably it. So let's say that I remember that face. I remember that mannequin with that background here. Then if I click on it, I'm going to probably click on it even though that's not the wig that I want or the item that I want. But because I recognize that face here, and then I'm going to go to, let's see, they have an eBay store, and I'm going to go to their eBay store. So you get the idea that by reusing similar mannequin or similar logo or similar things, you're going to ingrain into that person, or you're going to try to pass on to that person buying from you your brand. That's kind of the idea, to get return customers. That if you sold some, let's see, what could we be looking for? Let's say you bought, what could we have bought? A purse here. There you go. Why do women, for example, want, when they buy a purse, they want to buy a Coach purse? I don't even know how to spell it. Coach purse. That's to tell you how much I know about it. But women's are buying it for the brand. They will actually search for a Coach purse because it has Coach on the label, because it is a purse from Coach. And so that's kind of the idea. And you know, I'm not that big of a seller, but if somebody remembers my mannequin, somebody remembers that they were happy with it, maybe the next Halloween, because I have actually my brand printed on the label of the little bag, where the wig is, where they buy it, they hopefully store their wig after they've used it for Halloween into this poly bag where it has the name of my store, the name of my brand. Hopefully at the next Halloween, they're going to be searching for it, they're going to be typing it, and then they're going to buy again from me. So think about your thank you note or your shipping label or your invoice as a potential branding. It's not so much the question of asking for feedback or making the person feel warm and fuzzy about it. It's an opportunity for you to brand your name. Another example that I want to show you that does not have to do with receipts, and I'm saying this because first we make this application, and two, because it was talked about. One of the application that we have, for example, key tracking, sends an email to tell the customer to say, hey, we know that you've received the item post delivery here. We've been notified by the post office that you received the item, and we send them an email. Okay, you can send a blank email like this, or let me try to go to another of my users where hopefully I have that set up to show you the difference. Nope, same blank email. What you should do is try to find, put a header, put your logo in there. I know that billboards from, for example, from PageMage can be included in our application. And so the idea, there you go, I got it here. The idea is to actually brand yourself. Let's scroll down a little bit. There you go. So that when people receive your email, they see this again. They see your brand. You don't have to use necessarily this. It could just be, you know, put your logo down there. You know, try to brand yourself. It's not so much the idea. Of course, the customer likes it when you tell them, hey, we've been notified that your item, you know, I shipped or something like that. But the idea behind sending them some messages like this and communicating with them through either email or thank you note or any other type of packaging is to brand yourself. It's that if the customer is happy, they will hopefully retain maybe that email, and 6 months down the road they might search, oh, I know I bought that wig. They're going to search in their email, and then they're going to see, boom, the logo here, the link. They're going to click on it. They're probably going to simply, you know, follow the title or follow something like that. And even if they can't find it, it says JC Das Wig Store. Worst case scenario, I'm going to go to google.com and I'm going to type JC Das Wig Store because I really don't know where it is. And hopefully, there you go, I'm number 4 on the search here. Of course, there's some advertising, you know, above, and it's not always perfect. Obviously, competitor advertise. But the idea is that people can find me, people can find my store, and people can actually get back to my product and be a returning customer for me. So I hope this is going to help some of you and explain to you more the reason behind thank you note. And you need to decide with your business if thank you note is the way of marketing yourself that works the best. It might be. For myself, like I said before, it's basically to send a business card that has links to my Amazon store or eBay store, you know, other places, so that I can try to retain them as a customer. And it's not so much the business card that they're going to keep the business card. I'm pretty sure they're going to trash it whenever they receive it. But hopefully, it's another time where they're going to be able to see my logo on the business card, and hopefully it's going to imprint into their brain and potentially be a returning customer. So there you go. I hope this helps some of you, and I hope this helps you sell better and make more profit on eBay. And feel free to post some question, like us on Facebook, follow us. We're here to help. Thank you.